Hi folks, a little update here on SB 407. We sent out an action alert yesterday on SB 407 because it was being heard yesterday on the 20th of June in the Assembly Human Services Committee. Now, that committee voted on the bill, SB 407, yesterday. This is the foster care signing the statement affirming gender ideology that has been presented by Senator Wiener, and the committee voted on it yesterday. They passed it 6-2. We are very grateful for everyone that made phone calls on this bill, and I'm really grateful for people that forwarded on our action alert and shared it with their friends. It's really important that we can take action on things like this, both making phone calls. Some people showed up in committee actually to voice their opinion on the bill there, but it's really important to get those phone calls into legislators, specifically to people that are on these committees and particularly to your own legislators. So from here, that bill is going forward to the next committee, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But first I wanted to mention that when you call on these bills, you don't have to say where you got the information about the bill. There's a lot of action alerts out there on this particular bill and a lot of other bills right now. So it's important that you explain that you're opposed to this bill when you make your phone calls. And if you can say why if they ask for you to explain why you oppose it. And we have information that can give you some background on that in our action alert and on our website if you're interested. But first and foremost, make sure that you call your legislator and let them know that you oppose the bill. Currently, SB 407 is in the Assembly. It passed out of Assembly Human Services Committee yesterday on a 6-2 vote. That means 2 people voted against it, 6 people voted for it. We're really grateful for those 2 people that voted against it. They had to have courage to do that. So we're grateful to both of those legislators that voted against it. In our next alert, we'll ask you to say thank you to them, particularly if they are your legislators. So next, this bill will now go to the Assembly Appropriations Committee. Human Services Committee is a policy committee. It's where they decide what is good policy for our state, or what they think is good policy. So from here, they agreed, they voted 6-2 that yes, this is good policy for our state. Now it goes to appropriations. This is a different type of committee. This is a fiscal committee, or a committee where they decide how much money they want to spend on this good policy. So now that they've decided it's good policy, SB 407 will be evaluated in terms of its cost and how much money it will cost the state. So we need to make sure they hear from us that we don't like the cost that this is going to cost the state. Now, there are a lot of different variables here in terms of how this cost is going to be evaluated, because there's potential loss of foster families due to the details of this bill. There's a potential increase in foster group homes, and then there's going to be a lot of other parts involved in this. So it's very difficult to estimate exactly how much cost there is involved in it, but there could be a lot of other indirect costs as well, in terms of how maybe 50% less foster families in the state of California will have on the economy. We don't know what the implications of that will be. So they could have local implications, statewide implications, a lot of different things to consider there, but we definitely want to make sure that the people in this committee, the Committee on Appropriations in the Assembly, hear from us on this bill, as well as the next group that gets this bill would be the entire Assembly. So as this bill moves forward, it has a couple of stops. Right now, its next stop is the Assembly Appropriations Committee, but then it'll go straight to the floor of the Assembly, which is all 80 Assembly members would then vote on this bill. And we don't know exactly when that would happen, and maybe it won't happen if it dies in the Assembly Appropriations Committee. But if it goes before the full Assembly, we need every person to contact their Assembly member, the Assembly member that represents their district, to call their assembly member. I need you to call your assembly member to make sure that they know that you oppose this bill. And if possible, send this email, send our action alerts to as many different people as possible that you think could have an impact, could call their assembly members on this bill as well. So please make an effort to get the word out there on this bill, SB 407, and also make sure that you make a phone call to your assembly member to let them know how you feel about it. So all of these things are going to be in our action alert, so please stay tuned for that, and also check back on our website for updates. That's it for now. Thanks, folks.